Hello to all who are out there already and joining us. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We are coming to you from Stoughton, Wisconsin, which is the Norwegian Holiday Central this weekend. We've got a festival called 17. Mai, which recognizes Norway's national holiday, and so it's a little busy out there, which is fun, and you'll hear some of the people walking. Maybe, I don't know if you can hear people walking around upstairs or not. Sometimes it sounds really creaky down here. Anyway, we are going to today have these amazing turquoise beads that I absolutely love available. I'm going to first show you a demo on how to do this style of wrapping, which is what's the term for that?
Wrap loop.
Rosary chain. Yep. And then we're going to have a couple kits, and I'll show you this technique with chain, the weaving, which is really cool and fun and easy. We'll have some of the supplies and all that good jazz. And I think we'll probably get done early. That's the plan. And Ed's here to give you the scoop about what we're doing and what the deals are.
Yes, we are coming to you live from historic downtown Stoughton. It's the Ed and Becky Show. My name is Ed. Say hi, Becky.
Hi, Becky.
Becky says hi. Hey, so if you've done this before, you know the drill. But if this is your first time, we're going to show you different lots, like perhaps like maybe this lot. And if you like what you see, you just say sold lot number 1. It's just that easy. Maybe you want 2. You can say sold lot number 1, quantity 2. And it's just that easy. And at the end of the show, we send you a secure click and pay email via Square. So you can click on it, pay it, and then we ship it to you. If you've done this before, we have you in the system. If you're new, we just need to know your email at the end of the show, and you can send it to Becky@yakinosdesigns.com or use the messenger feature of Facebook. Do not put your email address in the feed. We have some additional deals today. I mean, everything is always on our show's price to sell, but if you buy like a rock star, as it's noted up there, yep, you can get some additional savings. Over 100, you'll save an additional 10%. Over 250, you'll save an additional 20%, 20%. If you have, if you're in our designer program, you can get your discount if it's better, but you can't get both. And as always, if you order over 50, we'll even ship it for free. If it's under shippy, it's just a small fee. So I'll turn it back over to Becky.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Guzman. All right, so I'm going to start with my little demonstration, but for anybody who's wanting to order some of these beads, I'm going to put that up there because you can just start chatting with Eddie any old time you'd like to, and he will take note. Hello, people. Oh, good fun. I see Pat and Lauren and Maureen and Justine, and yay, nice to see people on. And let me think. So we're going to be showing you this and how to do rosary chain with tiny little beads. And I guess one of the things I wanted to just start out with was what inspired me to do this project is a customer bought these beads and contacted us and said they don't work on memory wire. Well, that is true. If you try to put one of these fun little, not fragile, but small hold beads, and if you push too hard, they will break beads, they will break. And so it got me thinking, well, what other fun things can we do with this? Because memory wire is good, but it's not the only thing in the world, right? So what I did was I tested on one strand all the bead holes, and it's a bit of variety on this strand. So this 7 beads were big enough that I could fit 0.7 millimeter beading chain through. So I picked those 7 beads and arranged them and decided to make a cute little choker necklace. So that's one thing you can do, but you do need to cherry pick and find your big hole beads first is sort of my advice. And this is for these, for this strand or any other strand for what that's worth. If you find that you have varied bead holes and they're small, pick and choose with care. So I made a cute little pair of earrings. We're going to have this chain on later as well. This this head pin happens to be 22 mil. Well, I cherry picked those as well. So I picked the pairs for earrings out early before I used up the beads in something else. so that I could find some that matched and had big enough holes for 22 gauge wire. I will later have some 24 gauge head pins available if you are in need, because 24 gauge is going to fit through all of them. I've got these two little bowls of beads. Here's the ones I'm going to use for demonstration. I did already test all these holes, and these on the left, or on the right, are, I guess I'll move that out of the background, have small holes, and even the wire doesn't fit terribly well. So what I wanted to show you, so it kind of hits some resistance. So what I like to do is not give up. I don't want to break it, but I can gently kind of twist. There we go. Twist the bead a little bit, and I got that one on. So he goes in the happy it's gonna work bin. You'll see there you may find a few. I don't want to actually break one necessarily, but I do want to just show you, like, I'm going to try poking that through the other way. So sometimes up there, and now he went. You know, they're just, it's a more natural style of bead. It's not reinforced with anything. You know, a lot of turquoise is stabilized, and this isn't stabilized. So it is more delicate, but honestly, I've been using and wearing these, and I'm not so delicate that you can't do everything that we're talking about here. So I have pre-cut some wire, and this style of chain is called Rosary chain, and it's just making 2 loops on either end of the bead with the wires and then linking them all together. Pretty simple. This one happens to be a bracelet. I just finished it with a little magnet clasp. But I'm thinking I'm going to make some of these and have them, you know, maybe have 4 or 5 inches of it, and then chain to be a little necklace. But in the meantime, I am going to just do the basic wrap and show you how that's done. So I'm using 24 gauge parawire. In this case, I'm using the vintage bronze color, and I've got 1.5 inch pieces already pre-cut. And one of the things that I like with, or I try to do whenever I'm doing this sort of thing, is get my pieces, like they're between 1.5 and 1 3/4, so not perfectly the same length, but if you get them pretty close to the same length, then the whole piece is going to look a little more even. So I'm going to position the bead in the middle of the wire and then bend each side up. And as you'll see, I wasn't very accurate, and I don't tend to worry about that. It's a little off, oh well. One side, in the scheme of things, if one side's a little thinner, it really doesn't, or, you know, if one side has a little less wire, it really doesn't matter. So I'm holding, so we've got the bent piece, and in some cases the bead may fall off, and no worries. The main thing is that you're just trying to start where you would end up with about half of the wire on either side. And I'm going to do a wrapped loop over my over my round nose pliers, and coming toward me, turning, and then positioning. In this case, it's almost easier to hold it with your non-dominant hand and just use your fingers to wrap. I kind of like a loose-ish wrap, so I don't worry about getting it super tight. And now I'm using my bent nose to grab the tip and come all the way around. And because the wire is pretty soft, you can use your fingers with it and not, you know, poke yourself or get too hurt. It's strong, or, you know, you're strong enough. Sorry, I go off screen. I'm trying to get the job done while also making sure you can see it. So I'm coming in here. It's important to get that end tucked in so that it doesn't catch on things. And I guess my guideline is if I can't feel it with my finger, it's probably tucked in there pretty darn well. So we've got one side done. Gonna go ahead and bend the other side and do it again. So positioning The wire is facing away from me, and I'm paying some attention to how far from the tip my wire is placed so that the loops on each side are close to the same size. And turn the tool so that I can get around, and then wrap, switch hands because I'm better with my right hand when I'm doing smart things, and grab that tip and pull it around, and then press it in. So first one is done. So next and then you may pay some attention to the color pattern. Well, I shouldn't say that. Of course you pay attention to the color pattern. I happened to grab that randomly, but it worked out. So bend the wire so you've got roughly half. And now we're going to make the loop, but we're not going to complete it because I want to connect it to the first piece. So paying attention to how far from the tip I am, that's a little less than 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go around and just make the loop. I'm not going to wrap anything yet because I want to put the first little wrapped loop on there. And then this one, you can either go back in with your round nose pliers, which makes it a little easier. Whoops, sorry, again. And wrap around. Grab the tip of the wire and come around. And just reposition when you need to get into the space that you are trying to get into. Actually, I'm kind of curious. I am testing out some new pliers. We have used a lot of beadsmith pliers, and we are testing some beadle-on wires, or pliers, and I'm curious if anybody has opinions one way or the other. So I'm just twisting and turning this so that I can get at it comfortably enough, and tuck that last tail in, and then give it a bend, have the wire facing away from me, position so that you have the right size loop, and then wrap around. And the wire is really flexible. This is a nice size. It's plenty strong, but it is thin enough that it's very malleable and easy to work with. Okay, thanks for that info. It looks like I am working in my shadow. You wouldn't believe we've got, oops, sorry. We've got 3 big lights going on. Maybe if I hold it up here, it'll be a little bit better. And I'm going to just press that in. So I personally, like, once you've got a few loops in there, you can see they're a little bit bendy and wonky. And you can, because the wire is pretty soft, you can bend it just with your fingers. But honestly, I mean, when it's all put together, you really hardly notice. So I think I'm going to do just one more, and I'll try to do it in a better position so that it's easier to see. So I position the wire. Yeah, thanks for letting me know when things aren't easy to see, because I'm happy to adjust when I can. Yeah, the point is to make things, to make it useful, so that if you don't know how to do this, now you kind of do. So, all right, so we've bent. I'm gonna go like so. I think I need to get wrist brace or something so that it just forces me to keep my wrists in one spot. I know my son sometimes helps me do videos that we put online, and that's almost what I do, is I just sit there with my wrists in a certain spot on the edge of the table, and that helps keep things in one position, because it's hard here when you're kind of freestyling it. So I'm going to grab the tip, wrap it around, and that's good. Push the bead into position, bend the wire. It's facing away from me. I'm glad you're back, Mr. Guzman. We will move along shortly. And, oh shoot, what did I just do here? Did you guys see what I just did? I forgot to attach it. I got distracted. So I forgot to attach it to the two previous pieces, so I just unwrapped it a little bit. Thankfully I hadn't tucked it in. That would have been more fussy to get undone. And loop on my piece. And because this wire is so flexible, it's just easy to resurrect. You know, sometimes with heavier wire, it's hard to get a kink out of it. Here you really don't notice the kink, and if you do, it is easy enough to get out. So, oh, there's that magnet attaching to the tools. All right, one more, and then we're gonna go on. So if anybody's interested in the beads, they are $32 for the strand, 15-inch strand, which has, there we are. So as you can see, it goes faster once you get the rhythm of it, and when you're not trying to do it you know, under lights and under a camera. So and I've gotten a little bit addicted to doing these, I guess. I was playing around with some of our emerald beads, and we had these on a show a while back. You know, you can put 3 little beads together, do the same thing, whatever. You can use any kind of beads for what that's worth. And the 24 gauge wire works really, really well. So we're going to have the different wires available in next, but for the moment, lot 1 is these beautiful strands that are $32. And I think each strand has roughly 56 to 64 beads on it. And they are really very sturdy strands. I hope I haven't scared anybody off with the fact that you can break them if you push them onto something that's too big. But that's the case with any bead, quite honestly. So, alrighty. So, if you want to play a little bit, we have, well, let's see, 2 different kinds of, well, I've got, these are the brass colors, and then I've got the gold colors and then silver colors. But I wanted to do these together so you could just see the difference in shade. So what I was using and what I was working on was lot 2, which is the vintage bronze. So it's 24 gauge wire, and it's $6 for each. But smoky quartz is very, very close and just a little darker, almost into the copper, but very close. So lot 2 would be, actually I suppose I should just keep this one up there. So lot 1 is the beads. Lot 2 is the vintage bronze parawire in 24 gauge. And this gauge wire will fit through, you know, if you've got any of those pesky small hole beads in your stash, it will fit through most of them. There is smaller wire, 26, 28, that we carry, but they tend to get really thin, and you'd use them for the, well, obviously if you had to, but I kind of like to use as big a wire as you can. And this would be that in these beads. This is the biggest wire size that fits through comfortably. If you are doing rosary chain and you have a bigger hole bead, you can use thicker wire and then just do a simple loop, which goes much quicker. If you purchase rosary chain, I guess I've seen it both ways, where it's wrapped like this with connected loops, and other times it's just done with a simple loop that you can open and close. So lots 2 and 3 are the brassy colors, and next will be lots 3 and 4. Oh, 4 and 5 numbers. So gold, yeah, I'm trying to be better. Boy, every day I try and I try. Gold and faux gold. And again, I wanted to show them this way so you can kind of compare. The gold is what I would say just a little lighter than the faux gold. The faux gold is a little brighter, bolder, brassier. I'd say, you know, whatever. It's a matter of choice as to which is your favorite. I'm thinking, well, gold varies so much. Like we work with a lot of customers who have gold, like real gold, and they're looking for pieces and parts to go with to combine. I would say that this gold is closer to what I think of as real gold. But the faux gold has, it's just, you can see it would go, well, this would go well with either of these if you like gold wires, if you like gold jewelry. So lot 4 would be the 24 gauge gold, and lot 5 is the 24 gauge faux gold, and both will fit through these beads and many others. I'm glad it's getting to be spring. I'm hoping everybody out there is enjoying more better weather in than what we've had over the time that we do these live shows. It seems like we do them all year long, so obviously we get all the cold here and other places, and we've had some storms this week, but boy, we're happy to have spring feel like it is settling in. Alrighty. So the golds are going away, and we're gonna have the silver shades. And there's 3 of them. Silver, brushed silver, and titanium. And silver is as such. Brushed silver has a almost antique silver look. In fact, that's what a lot of people call it. And titanium is, I guess this is a good way to see just the variation. So shiny silver, more antique silver or brushed silver, and then the titanium is, I mean, what an interesting difference, right? So shiny, shiny on the left. The titanium is almost like a rhodium-ish color. And all of them, of course, are easy, fun, fine, useful for all the different ways that you might want to do this rosary chain technique with any of your small hole beads.
Fun fact, I'm part German, part Polish, part Belgian, and due to knee surgery, I am part titanium also. So, just thought I'd share that.
Oh, you're cute. Yes, you are part titanium. That is true. You know, I tend to do my base metal color is almost always a brass or a warmer metal, whereas a lot of turquoise is often done with silver, and I think any one of these would look great if you're interested in doing turquoise with silver. So Lauren, you're part titanium as well. Way to go.
Well, I thank everybody for laughing.
Yeah, thank everybody for laughing, says Ed. is so this is a dumb question. Titanium's not magnetic, right? Like they don't do that to people where they would put something magnetic inside them. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of silly, but got me thinking.
I have a magnetic personality.
Oh, is that it? You're cute. If I know I showed, we're gonna next do the little woven bracelets, and I've got a handful of kits, and then some naked kits in brass and copper, and then we're gonna have some chain segments if you want to just make it up yourself. And as ever, I mean, we have some of these items are on the show, but not all of them. So if you are interested in, for instance, whoa, Becky, make a mess. The, where'd it go? I threw this on. So the magnet clasp, this little guy that I used, those are online, and beading chain is online. If you put an online order in today before we ship any items from this show, we'll combine them, right, Eddie? And
yeah,
don't charge shipping. So for anything that's not on the show but you are interested in, or if there's any other stuff that you need, since we're going to be sending stuff out to you, just send us an email or place an order on the website.
And if the web charges you shipping and it shouldn't have, we'll refund it.
Wow, Eddie, you're so good. Yes, so we will happily refund shipping if the website charges you for it because of whatever the dollar amount is. We'll happily refund it. Alrighty, so now we're going to go on to the little bracelet. I'm going to put those instructions up as usual. Well, no, not as usual. Sometimes we don't do instructions. We just do our little video, but we decided to go ahead and do some instructions for this. So we've got a set of basic instructions, and this video will also help to make it clear how these go together, but they are pretty darn straightforward in my humble opinion. The kits are going to be equipped with everything you need to make 2 bracelets, because, well, and so the way that we're going to do this is, as you can see, these are so simple. I don't think I realized how simple these were. It took me a while. But this one has the blue leather is the kind of, I would call it the crisscross leather. The brown leather is the leather that goes straight through. So each kit comes with the same color of metal, and 2 pieces of, or 4 pieces of leather, thinking that you could switch them around. So on the example that I'm going to do it with, I'm going to use the brown leather as the crisscross leather, and then we'll see how that looks just a little bit different depending on which one you use. And you could do them both the same way, or you could do them differently. So try to get up into as much light as I can. And we're using 2mm leather here. The chain is 12mm link chain. And because of that, it is getting the leather through the hole. I mean, this is going really easily, but sometimes you might, leather varies, as you know, ever so slightly. So if your leather's a little thick, cut it to a point and carefully work it through. But I'm going to pull the 1 full yard of leather through, and you're going to have extra leather for sure. So I'm pulling that through, so we have half on either side, and then I'm going to do overhand knot to start it out. Just looping it through. And the second piece of leather, I'm going to show you on this one, I like to kind of just loop right between the 2 that are there, the 2 that are in the beginning of the knot, and then just bring it down over one of them so that it's securely securely fixed inside the knot. So, and I think I referred to this as blue leather. In truth, this is actually natural turquoise leather. Just saying. Yeah, I know, be better. So I'm loosening that opening just a smidge, and then taking the two pieces, I've looped that over one piece of leather that came out of the buttonhole, and all of this is so that you end up with 4 pieces of leather all coming out of one knot in the least large way possible, because if you tied them all into a knot, 4 pieces of leather, 2 mil especially, tied overhand would be a huge honking knot, and we don't want a knot that's that huge. So now I've got my piece of turquoise leather nicely tucked inside, and I'm going to tighten this knot, and as ever, hold on to the knot and pull the cords. You can see just how much is being pulled out there. Pull it the other way just to make sure you get as much stretch out of the leather as possible so that it doesn't stretch once you're wearing it. So we've got that all going, and now my plan is to have the turquoise leather up top, because we're doing it the opposite of this guy. And so you just set the leather right on top of the first link of the chain, and the chain has a seam on one side and no seam on the other. It seems to me that, well, it's, and anybody who's looking, I guess, that you really only see that link on what I think of as the back side of the bracelet. And since that's the case, I'm going to put the smooth side on the underside, so that if you're wearing it this way, I call that the back side of the bracelet, just because that's the way we're going to weave it. But, then you don't have the seam in this little bead, in that little link bead. You don't have that seam showing. So I'm going to turn it so that the seam is up right now, and holding the 2 pieces of leather that are just going to basically sit there right up next to the ring. I'm going to go up through the upper right corner, and then over the leather and down through the other side, which is in this case kind of the lower left. And now I'm going to go with the other piece of leather through the upper left side, and then crisscross on the lower right, going over the turquoise leather, and then pull it snug. So then next stitch, we're going to just line it up where you want it to go, and then I'm going up through the upper right side, down through the lower left, and up through the upper left, crossing over. And if you always start with the right and do the left, then your knots will always hang the same way. And then this is a good example. See how this guy, this is kind of big and sticking out. So each stitch, this guy was sticking out, this side piece of brown leather. I try to, pull the leather the right amount of snug so that it's going to be even all the way along. And then, wiggle it a little bit, check on the side that it's not been caught up. Like, see that one, I wanted to pull him out just a little bit so that's an even snugness. And so these two the brown pieces of leather are nice, hugged in nice and close. And if you wanted it to be looser, you certainly could, and then just be consistent with that. I'm going to do one more, up and over on the right, down and over the turquoise leather, and down on the left. pulling snug, up on the left, and over the leather and down on the right. And then pull it nice and snug. So, so this is the version where the brown is crisscrossing. This is the version where the turquoise is crisscrossing. It's interesting because I used 2 different spools of turquoise, so you can see that there's a slight difference in those colors. But in any case, you'll just keep on going on till you get it to the length that works for you. And the way we're finishing these is super simple. The crisscross leather is going to end up being the little dangles, and then the leather that was the straight on top leather is going to be the one that creates the buttonhole. So just make a big old loop, overhand knot loop, and then put the other 2 strands through, and then you've got a couple of little beads that will go on and make it a little dangle. So I don't want to bore you with going through the whole bracelet, but you're really just, that end piece is, or the ending is just going to be as simple as that overhand loop. And then these guys go right through, and then pull it good and snug. And one more, of course, to be your finishing knot, so you have a loop in order to put the bracelet together. So, there we go. Easy peasy. So,
even a man can do it.
Even a man can do it. Did you make one of these? I don't even remember. I don't think you did you? I mean, you could, but...
I work in a bead store. I mean, I could, yes.
I know you work in a bead store, honey. All right, so lot 9, because we were on 7, right, is the kit to make this coloration, which isn't the one I demoed. The one I demoed is actually lot 10. But lot 9 is this lovely combination. So you'll get in your little kit the instructions: 4 yards of leather, 16 inches of chain, 2 buttons, and 4 of those little accent beads. So
Show them how amazing the instructions are.
I showed them how amazing the instructions were already. Yes. Oh, you probably were. So here's the amazing instructions. Eddie, do you care to share who put those instructions together?
Oh, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay, is that why you wanted to mention it again? Yes, he put these instructions. I usually do the photos and the editing, but he does all of the writing. Thank you, Eddie, for doing all of that. And he did that, what, yesterday? Or the day before? Yeah, he's a pretty fast guy. I appreciate it. So lot 9 is this version, which is brass. You make 2 of these, so $20 kit. You make 2 bracelets that are up to way over 8 inches, actually, because
You can almost make
there's extra.
anklets.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this one has natural green and natural Pacific are the colors that we've got going there. One of the things that I've been doing with extra rings is making the little earrings. I think I showed you some earlier. This chain works out beautifully. See this one? I hammered, and just easy to use your, ball peen hammer, just the rounded end of a regular hammer, and get a little bit of texture on that, and then dangle something. So you will, in most cases, I think you're going to end up with some extra beads. So, extra chain links. So you may want to make some fun little earrings as well. So, yeah, lot 9 is brass with natural green and natural Pacific. So I'm going to have 2 more colorways, and then we'll have some naked kits. So then you can make whatever colors you like. And this is a chain that's being has been discontinued, unfortunately. and we only have brass and copper and just a little bit of gunmetal, which will be available by the 2-foot chunk in just a little bit. So, alrighty. So, lot 10 is this guy, and then that is the one that we demoed. So that's going to look like this, and this has natural antique leather and natural turquoise leather, and yeah, you can even see on my little tag I put blue, but it's actually turquoise. And it is brass, so lot 10, 2 bracelets for the $20 kit, and natural turquoise and natural antique. The leather in all of these is 2mm leather, and the chain is 12mm loops or circles. This is this technique, for what it's worth, is, you have maybe seen it before, done just with plain old jump rings. And I just want to show that real quick. So so you can do what I just shared. I mean, using the chain is an easy way to like get familiar with the rhythm of it all, but it's pretty simple. But this is just jump rings. So these are, I think these are a little smaller than 12mm jump rings, but I still used 2mm leather, and you just kind of do the same thing, and you just have to hold it in place. It's not quite as easy as the chain, which makes it stay in place. You just got to kind of hold it, but same concept. And this pattern I've seen around, well, yeah, it's a classic pattern that's out there in the world. So I think Tierra Cast had a kit like this. I'm sure others have as well. Well, what Tierra Cast had was cool Tierra Cast rings, and those were cool, but they weren't chained. So yes, in that way it wasn't quite as cool. So anyway, you can see just how easy that is, and just pull it all nice and snug. And so if you have big jump rings around, or any size, just, you know, scale the leather to the rings, you can do this technique with that as well. So, alrighty, so that's lot 10. I will get us moving on to lot 11. And that one is copper chain. The first two were brass. This one is copper. And there we go. Same deal. 2 bracelets for $20. All the ingredients to make probably 9 or 10-inch bracelets. You could, you know, I don't know if that would work well as a, I was going to say you could even make an ankle bracelet, but it's kind of a chunky ankle bracelet, but could work. But it would fit almost every wrist out there, and you'll have a few extra rings. So this uses natural antique and natural Pacific. I know this natural Pacific is one of those leathers, like so many, that vary quite a little bit in which spools we get. So we chose one of our darker spools, and it's almost black. It's technically a very, very, very dark blue, but it looks almost black. So if you like a black-brown look, which I don't know, I kind of do, it gives you that vibe, but it's actually a very dark blue. So lot 11 is the copper bracelet with natural antique and natural antique brown and natural Pacific leather. Yay, yay. All right, next we're going to have naked kits in each of those colors. Excuse me while I drink my water. And as y'all know, if you are watching this and it's after about 1 o'clock on Friday the 17th of May, then you are watching a replay. And the way to order items is to send an email to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com and let us know what you'd like, and we will get her done. Alrighty, so lot 12 and 13 are going to be the naked kits. So basically what that means in this bracelet arrangement is that you have everything except the leather. So 2-pack of natural and the antique brass, all the ingredients to make 2 bracelets except for the leather. And then in lot 13 is the copper chain. So all the ingredients to make 2 bracelets except for the leather.
But it does include the instructions and the pictures.
Yes. Includes the instructions and pictures. And then this would be you know, may already have yummy good leather that you want to use, and that would be what you do. If you need leather, we've got leather, you can order it online. And then you can do it in whatever fun colors you like. So another random question while I'm moving from one thing to the next. When it comes to memory wire bracelets, like such, do you prefer bracelets where they're a little looser or where they're firmer? And I hope that makes sense. We're in the midst of making some decisions about different memory wire, and the wire is slightly thinner, which makes for a looser, more fluid wearing bracelet, and one other wire is slightly stiffer and makes for a more resilient in terms of its form. So like if you're sitting, this lays and just lays comfortably. So this is a little looser. Bracelets that are a little more stiff, you wouldn't lay it quite like that. They'd almost stay stiff like so. I am quite curious if anybody has any opinions, because like I say, we're making some decisions in how we're moving forward with some of our kits. So I'd love to hear your input. If you have thoughts on that, you want to add them here, cool. But if you would want to send us an email, that'd be helpful too. Either way.
We've got 2 loose ones.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's funny because as we've asked around the store, loose has been winning out, which I find interesting. We have tended to be, our kits up till now have been made with a stiffer wire. And so it's interesting and helpful for sure to know. So, all right. So 12 and 13, I'm going to tuck away, and then we're going to bring our, our chunks of chain. So what we're doing here is you get 2 feet of chain, so that this will, I can't fit them all on, but I'm going to do it.
Think of those as extra naked.
Yeah, extra naked. Yeah, and the whole thing, naked just means we don't include all the ingredients. You add your own beads, add your own leather, whatever. We think we're so funny with our naked kits. Anyway, yeah, so these are extra naked because all they are is chain, so we could also just call that chain, which is what I did, but if Ed were here, he might have called, if Ed was doing this show, he would have called them extra naked kits. So the idea here is that you get 2 feet of this chain at $6 a foot, so it's $12 for 2 feet, and you can do whatever you want with it. You can make, that would make up to 3 bracelets, most in all likelihood, right? Is what you've been saying.
Yep.
And Ed did all the math. I suppose I could have done that math. It's basic. You know, as I pointed out earlier, these rings are just yummy when, well, you don't have to smash them, but if you hammer them, then you get a little bit of, you know, fun little arty extra texture that's always nice. And they take to that real well. In fact, you could almost do that before weaving it, but that's a lot of work. I would do it for the earring. That feels very worth it. So anyway, lot 14 is the antique. Oh, Becky. Lot 14 is antique copper. Lot 15 is antique brass. I had that on wrong.
So 14 is?
14 is copper. 15 is brass.
All right.
16 is gunmetal. The words are correct.
Okay.
I put the piles wrong. I had gunmetal right, but then I had brass and copper flipped. So I apologize for that. If anybody needs to clarify, because you ordered, I know on my screen it's really hard to see what's being said because it kind of moves off quickly. And but if you need to clarify, please do that. Lot 14 is antique copper and lot 15 is the antique brass. This is enough to make 3 bracelets and or earrings and or whatever other good stuff you might want to make. And then last but not least is just supplies in case you need supplies to do earrings that might go with these. So I'm going to do those pretty quick as well. We've got a couple different finishes. Like so. Brass. Sorry. So just matching head pins, the 24 gauge head pins and ear wires. And so $5 for each of those sets. So brass, copper is 18. Boy, I did sort of dyslexia that in the last one from brass. I was always doing brass first except last time. Lot 19 is silver. The 24 gauge head pins, and lot 20 is gold because gold is good too. I think I saw, I do not have them on the show, but they're $1.50, and if somebody, and we've got plenty.
Do you remember the finishes?
For the magnets?
Yeah.
Yep, so if you're interested in the little magnets, that's these guys right there, just super strong magnets. I had them on, actually I had them on last time when I did this bracelet. So, anyway, Becky, be better. Nobody needs to see your palms. We have these in, and they're super strong. I just love these. You do need a nice sturdy 18 gauge ring to pull them with, because otherwise you'll pull the jump rings out of, you'll pull the jump rings off. But those come in antique brass, antique copper, gunmetal, gold, and silver. So if anybody would like that tiny magnet, just say how many you'd like. They're $1.50, and they come in antique brass, antique copper, oh, antique silver also, shiny silver, and gunmetal, and gold. Pardon?
Yep, 6 ways.
Yep, 6 different choices of that nice tiny little, but tiny but powerful magnet. Those little magnets, for what it's worth, make really good necklace extenders. Where you just put, not an extender, but lobster converter, sorry, where you just put a lobster, you attach a lobster with a jump ring to a magnet and a jump ring, and then that replaces, like on a necklace for somebody who's got mobility issues or stiffness or can't reach behind their neck. Now you can, you hook the lobster onto the side of the necklace that doesn't have the lobster, and then you hook the other side of the little setup with the lobster that's on the necklace, and now you have a magnet clasp. And then you can move that little piece in between, and in between necklaces. And we make an awful lot of those for people who have necklaces that they would love to wear but don't want to because they're just too hard to get on and off. And those little magnets are so small, and then with a little 9mm or 12mm lobster, there you have a nice, compact, easy way to turn it into something with a magnet. So alrighty, I think special requests, it looks like Lori's got one. We are happy to handle, and we'll get that, figure out what you need and put it on your invoice. If anybody else has any requests like that, just let us know. We appreciate being able to help you play beads in your neck of the woods, wherever that might be. I think we are at, 1 o'clock. Perfect. All right. So that is it for us today. And as ever, if you've got any requests after this, the best thing to do is send an email to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com. As we said at the beginning, shipping is free for orders over $50, and if you spend over $100, you save 10%, and over $250, you save 20%. And if you have questions about any of this, give us a holler. Love you all. Bless you. Have a great weekend.